So, I haven't done a video in a minute. Maybe a short one a little bit ago, but just been waiting to see how things play out. I'm surprised that we didn't have a government shutdown. I really thought it would come because, like, they've already announced that Ukraine has no more money, that the U.S. has given the last monies. And you just never seen the Democrats fold when they need the money. So normally the Democrats would force the shutdown and saying, you give us Ukraine aid or we shut down. And then Republicans would cave right before shutdown. But this time, that didn't happen. Instead, they did another CR to March 1st. And Ukraine still does not have funding. So that was disappointing because it felt like maybe the announcement of a government shutdown could have been the catalyst of a squeeze. But, yeah, I mean, January 19th options expired. And I don't know, it looks like the market's still primed. I mean, on Friday it closed at all-time highs, breaking the 2021 highs. And it's typically the sign that the market's in trouble because something else is about to move violently. And so, I don't know. Maybe Mullen happens. Maybe it squeezes next week or the week after. And maybe it's just such a violent squeeze that, I don't know. Somehow I get brought to a stage. I'm torn on what to do. I don't know what to do. When I read the Bible, it tells me that I should do nothing. It tells me that 10,000 people will show up by my side. It tells me that, like, it says the man who overcomes. So if you don't know what the New Testament says, the New Testament says that the Old Testament, that the Jewish people lost their inheritance to God, and that because they killed Christ, that all people became equals. And that there is no difference between Jew and Gentile, and now it becomes the matter of the hearts of men. And you're either a good person or you're a bad person. And unfortunately, we're all more bad people than we are good people right now. Like, the process of becoming a good person is most certainly a process, and there's most certainly nobody alive living by that process. You need to understand that, like, America is not free. You pretend that it is. You get mad at people for breaking laws and not living to their potential because you claim America's free and all this bullshit. And you need to understand that when they rig the money, when they print money, as a free-born American that has the right to life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness, they violate the Constitution by printing money. And so at the end of the day, Christians, Muslims, Jewish people, it don't matter who you are, atheists, you all support the system, and you all say that, oh, if we just fix this, if we just fix that, if we just fix this, then it'll be better. And it won't, unless you fix everything. And so I feel like it's obvious that our rights as born American citizens have been violated for a long time now. And it's so disgusting because the only thing in history that, like, was ever real was your heritage and your birth and what that offered you. And so, like, what I mean by that is, like, even in the time of Jesus, there were laws and there were procedures and there was rules. And like, if you had a problem, you could take it to the judge, you could take it to the ruler, the king, the presiding person over the area, and they would hear it and they would judge on it. And if you were one type of citizen living in another type of citizen's kingdom, like, you didn't have the same rights as somebody who was, so like, for example, the Roman Empire, if you were born Roman, you had rights over the other peoples. And in America, the difference is that it was supposed to be for everybody. Now, you can get into slavery, but slavery is so much more complex than anybody realizes. I mean, slavery itself is not inherently bad. The idea of indentured servitude, where like people were coming over, they were finding someone that had resources that they could live, they could shelter, food, and care for them, and they would work off their debts until they earned back their freedom. Like, there's nothing wrong with selling your free, like, I mean, there's something wrong with selling your freedom, but you have the right to do it. But the problem is they've taken our American freedoms and they never paid us for it. Instead, they've only taken from us. And so we're all oppressed. We're all victims of the ruling elite. And I just want to be in a world where there's opposition against the elite. Because everything right now claiming to be opposition against the globalists, against the rich, they're all just puppets creating narratives to create division between you and fellow other citizens. I don't care if you're talking about Alex Jones, Elon Musk, fucking all of the influencers are here. Jordan Peterson, like all your favorites. Freaking, obviously the Democrats, like, they're just so bad. They want to take away the American freedoms, and it's like the other people are claiming to fight for freedom, but they don't actually care about freedom, and they care about the division that they're creating, and they care about the money that they're making and the views that they're getting, and they're never actually there to solve a problem. There's so many opportunities that we could have solved our problems, and we just don't take advantage of them because it takes a person who's just willing to die for it, like a person who's willing to put truth over everything else every single time, over themselves, over their family, over everything. And I mean, obviously I'd argue I'm the only one that's trying. And so I sit here wondering what's going to happen with Mullen, losing all my hope in the idea that I don't know. Like, obviously the squeeze has to happen eventually. They're making money, they're invoicing, they're doing revenue. And so if the squeeze happens, great. Like, I'm sure it'll work out for me somehow. But I hate that through all this YouTube garbage I've done, all the things I've proven, all the fucking wins I've had, all the fucking stories I've shared, all the fucking facts and industries I've exposed and destroyed, like, I just wish there was more people interested in seeking the truth. Like, for me, if there was people out there like me, something would have already happened. Like, with more than one of me, and we're just too powerful to stop. And what I mean by that is, like, since I was a young kid, I was out looking at everyone claiming to be about money and be about business, and all their stuff sucked. It was all start with a lot of money to make a lot of money, and it was all like hire these people, and like in the whole process of our system where we just hire people, like it's no better than slavery. You're never giving real opportunities to most businesses do not offer real opportunities for people to survive and thrive and all these different things. So I'm in this weird situation where, like, I feel like I should do nothing, and if I do nothing, then the only thing that makes sense that could end up changing the world and putting me at the forefront of it is a Mullen squeeze so big that, like, even if I don't get anything out of it, and even if everyone who listened to me lost all their money, it's just so big that the people that, like, I don't know, the people are grateful. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy to think about David Mitchery. David Mitchery, Mullen, the whole story. They sent me a cease and desist saying I'm not allowed to pump their stock and that I'm violating all these different laws. And this is in probably August of 2022. And then in August of 2023, I get a message from the only YouTube influencer that provably talks to David Mitchery on a regular basis and did all of his interviews for Retail and all these different things. And has this guy reach out to me saying, I talked to David Mitchery and we were talking about you, and he says he believes the squeeze is coming also. And it's just like, obviously that's illegal. Obviously that is, it's just wrong on so many levels. I mean, aside from the fact that they sent me the cease and desist saying I'm not allowed to try to pump a squeeze, aside from the fact that the, like, so they have that experience with me, but then, like, you get into my life, and if you, like, realize that if I wasn't in my situation where I'm the guy who's sitting here wanting a Mullen squeeze to save this world, but also the guy that has literally 3 different billion-dollar ideas in his back pocket right now that would take not a significant amount of money, maybe 6 figures to get off the ground, any one of them. And like, if I wasn't here with so much confidence that everything is so corrupt and so much mathematical proof, and having people taking my ideas and literally be worth billionaires right now off my work that I did in my parents' basement for 2 fucking years, and they just take it and they run with it. And I mean, the only reason I'm not selling it today is, like, because it's a garbage version of what should be available. The real version of what this guy has made billions, my brother has made billions of dollars off of, is 99% less fees than what he's charging people, and 100% more innovative, and just, it's an industry king. It destroys all other life insurance companies. It destroys all other financial institutions, because you'll realize that at the end of the day, Like when you compare what I have to offer versus what everyone else is offering, is I offer what everyone else is offering plus all the benefits of what they're hiding from you and what they're manipulating away from you through garbage fees, garbage sales plans, garbage mathematical illustrators, garbage life insurance formulas that aren't based on maximizing the client's potential, but rather the commission and all this other bullshit. It's wild. So I just sit back and I'm waiting and I'm thinking. Started writing what I think might be just a little short book, and maybe I'll publish a book about the opportunity. It's pretty long. I don't know if I want to read it to you guys right now. It's pretty long. I just wrote this last night in a couple hours in my email on my phone. Only thing I really got to do to add to it is a couple illustrations from an Excel page. And just like copy and paste it into all like a Word document, and then it'd be like ready to publish basically. I don't know. I'm just thinking out here. Wondering what I should do. Wondering which way to go. So, like, if you know like the AMC story, you know that AMC like started when GameStop started, and then after GameStop squoze, retail rallied around AMC, and then they squoze it. And there's this song here called When It All Falls Down by the Flowbots, and it's clearly and obviously about me. So Mullen squoze. May, what would it have been? End of May 2021. And this song came out June 11th, 2021. So literally 20 days after, it was really 11 days, 10 days after Mullen or AMC hit its high at $60 a share. And plenty of people made 100x on their money by investing on options. And so this came literally 2 weeks. They dropped this song 2 weeks after that giant squeeze. And if you listen to it, he talks about Civil War. He talks about like there's so much I could go in here that relates to me. But basically he talks about people and everyone fighting against each other, and then he talks about like a great sacrifice and asking did the pain mean something more and all this other stuff. And it was obviously about me sacrificing my AMC money. Like, I led everyone to victory, and then I just didn't take the profit at the end. And I said I don't need the money, and I'm here for something different than money. And then at the end it becomes clear and obvious, because he says that there was an option, and I was the one pushing options in AMC. And he said there was a profit. And said there's a prophet, and it is something about
trees and broken treaties. There was an opening, there was an option. The spirits were watching, the devil was craving to fight. The prophet said there is a clearing beyond right and wrong, a conspiracy saving your
life. I was never here for the Moan Squeeze to get rich. I left the AMC Squeeze the day before the squeeze just because I didn't care about the money. Trying to prove that this is about more, thinking that I could move the hearts of men by being something different that no one's ever seen before. And unfortunately, just none of you guys out there are actually willing to do the research. Got 1,000 hours of YouTube videos that prove I'm a one of a kind. And yet, I don't have a friend in the world. I don't have anything except for fucking truth. I just hold on to my truth, knowing that the whole world is lying to everyone else around them. And that one day time will set me free, but fuck, man. Why you guys gotta be so slow? You all get excited when I start doing something that you feel passionately about, but then it feels wrong to keep pushing for it. Doesn't matter if it's the AMC Squeeze, doesn't matter if it's the Chick-fil-A thing. Like in the Chick-fil-A thing, when I started, like, I got supposedly fired, but then, like, I got my job back because clearly the manager was a fucking douchebag. And then I fucking turned the job down because they told me that I couldn't fucking keep the job if I wasn't willing to work without a break. And basically, I was told that I get two 15-minute breaks during my 12-hour shifts. And when the owner offered me my job back, he fucking said that I can only have my job back if I agree that some days I might have to work without a fucking break. And so I started like boycotting outside their store, and all of a sudden I get some messages from different YouTube channels saying that they'd help me out and they'd like promote it and all this other bullshit. And because they feel like I'm right about it, and also that like it could bring positive change. Well, motherfuckers, that's exactly the type of shit I'm talking about. Like you out here fucking seeing my shit, watching my shit, having the ability to help influence what I got going on. And y'all just fucking waiting till it feels right for you. Well, it's never gonna feel right for you because you're fucking evil. You don't know what good and evil is. You don't like you're just corrupted. You're all garbage. And I'm trying to make you better people. But you don't make this easy. Any other man in my situation would have killed themselves. And I want to. I want to be dead. I don't really want to kill myself, but I do want to be dead. Like, I just want the devil to fucking kill me. I want fucking one of you crazy motherfuckers to come kill me. I want fucking the rich motherfuckers to just assassinate me. Like, maybe my story gets out once I'm dead. But until then, the only thing that there's really two things that got me a little bit interested right now, just because the Mullen thing's really breaking my heart. And the two things that I could be interested in what's the word? Awakening my energy and going balls to the wall for something like I've done so many times and accomplished so many good things doing so. And obviously I got one where, like, I'm waiting to hear back on it because it was like maybe I started it last year, about a year ago, and I stopped working on it maybe 8 months ago. And ultimately, I found a very unique opportunity between S&P 500 futures and options. And from what I gathered, it was 100% guaranteed that 1 to 5% ROI daily is going to happen through a perfected version of the strategy. Now the problem is the way that I built the strategy, the way I built it with the programmer was that I built it like this mainframe where I can put in any position that I want and set all these different rules and calculations. And so it's just me thinking about how, like, I've seen the market move and then pushing all these things together and then going back and testing the data and seeing how it worked over a period of time. Over 100 different days of data, giving me all different types of variety of types of days and trying to find the formula that works best within every day. So, like, what's the best formula that's going to produce the most returns throughout the average day? And I believe that I found exactly what I was looking for, but just the programmer I was working with was just so fucking annoying. And I lost my patience and I just walked away from it. And so I know that I could, like, I have one spot of it where you just cut out the options and you just hit the futures. And I mean, honestly, it seems even more profitable. But even if it only did 1% a day, 1% a day is enough to break the fucking world. And so something like that would probably, if I was being honest, starting from the ground with a new programmer, probably cost me about 20 grand to get the program running the futures formula. And then I'd probably need another 35 grand to actually be able to have a proper trading account that can trade the formula. And so that's like the one idea where it's like, if this world truly just sucks and like the Jews are about to just completely erase Palestine and the Ukraine war is gonna continue or Russia's gonna somehow cave and like it just looks like the one world fucking government's coming, then it would just, like, I don't know, probably motivate me to go and just disappear from life for a year and go chase storms and save up 100 grand like I've done before and just go hit that all by myself and do it all by myself. And that's an option. I don't love that option. I hate that option. Like taking a step back and going back to roofing, and that just sounds like a fucking joke. And so there is that option, but again, I mean, outside of a potential like going and raising money for someone to do it with me and just hitting it hard and fast, like the reason I don't love that idea is because I know for a fact that subconsciously the reason that I have excelled so much throughout my life and yet just like burned every accomplishment and all the work that I've started and walked away from it was because there's something about becoming self-made and becoming rich that corrupts your brain. When you go through the work and the efforts that it takes, like think about the girl that has the single mother that works 2 jobs and putting herself through college, and just 1 in a million scenario where she gets to where like her kids are the 1%ers because she just worked so damn hard and she saved all of her money, and they just scrimped and pinched, and she went to college for a really good degree, whatever, like that story definitely exists. It's super fucking rare, but that type of effort brings you so much pride in yourself that, one, you feel like anyone could do it and that they're all just lazy and not willing to do what you did. But then, and that like creates a real problem with how you view the world and how you view the poor. And that regardless if you were able to fucking work your way out of it, doesn't negate the fact that we're still being oppressed, that we're still not living up to the standards of what American freedom truly represents for the individual. They love to fucking try to call us a democracy, but we're a republic. And what that means is the rights of the individual trumps the rights of everyone else. And so the second you print money, the second you open the borders, the second you are violating laws that are on the books, you have violated the rights of every single American as a politician, and you deserve to be hung for treason. And so there's no words that I could say, there's no threat that I can make that they're going to be able to arrest me on, because at the end of the day, like, you have the right to free speech, and this idea that you don't have the right to incite violence, it's false. It's 100% false. They've been doing it their whole fucking lives. Since America has been created, they've been doing violence against the blacks, violence against the Mormons, violence against anybody and all groups of people who do not accept society for the way that it is. Violence against the MAGAs. And like, a lot of MAGAs are people that think that, like, oh, if we just had the right president, and oh, if we like they're not. I don't believe that a lot of the MAGAs actually care about Trump. I believe that they think that Trump is the only one that's fighting for them, and they're wrong about that. He's just a fucking puppet. But they don't, like, they look at the problems of the border, they look at the problems of the debt, and they want them solved. They do. But they want them solved, and then they want everything to stay the same, the way that it is. To where, like, the rich are still getting richer and the poor are still dying in the streets and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, that's the truth, because they blame the poor and the criminals and all these people. They blame them for not being as good as they are. But you're not good. Being successful in this world means you're garbage. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says this is the devil's world until God comes to reclaim it. And that God will come, and through Jesus' Spirit will bring forth the second coming, Armageddon, and that eventually all will kneel to him. But before the kneeling, well before the kneeling, it says that the Lord will appear with 10,000 of his saints, and that these people will wail, and the whole world will scream in terror, and that they will hide under the rocks and ask the rocks to cover them and hide them, and that they will pray for death, and death will escape them, and that the ways of the rich people will go away, and that the true laws of liberty, which God is all about. God doesn't want you to be perfect. God wants you to have the choice to be perfect, but you do not have the choice to be perfect when the devil is in every single part of your life today. That's a fact. And so I know subconsciously all these times where I was just at the point where I could continue making the money I was making, start saving, do all the things that I was reading about when I was studying retirement planning, and make it to where, like, by the age of, like, by now, I probably would have never had to work again had I just stayed on my path and been focused on retirement or some bullshit. Whatever you guys are chasing. But again, there was something that I noticed where had I like just at 18, had I gone to college, because my grades were pristine, my test scores were through the roof. Like, had I gone to college and done it the way everyone else did it, I would have been corrupted by the world just like everyone else that I'm sure of. And that's why you're all corrupted. The ones that did it, the ones that are successful, like, your hearts are hardened. You want, like, even if you're helping the homeless and you give food and you give money and you do whatever it is you're doing that makes you feel like you're a good person, it's like, at the end of the day, you feel these people need to try harder and be better. And it's not fair to ask that in this world. Like, it's not fair to ask people to be better when our freedom is oppressed. And so until you fight to end the oppression and win, you can't hold anyone to a higher standard. And you're really just being a hypocrite and a Satanist and promoting the death of the poor. Because at the end of the day, every law, every government, every world institution, every action taken I've seen over the last decade is designed to kill poor people. Depopulation by oppression. And it's happening in America just as much as it's happening anywhere else. We are occupied by, you could say it's the Jews. The Bible says it's the ones who call themselves Jews, but are not the Jews, but are the synagogue of Satan. But it really doesn't matter. Like, nobody cares about the Jews. We just gotta end these rich people's ways. And again, a Jew doesn't mean to me, a Jew is someone that follows society. A Jew is someone that believes they can be their own God. A Jew is someone that worships idols. A Jew is someone that hates Christ. Like, all of these things have nothing to do with your heritage, nothing to do with your parents, nothing to do with any of that. It's denying that Jesus died for our sins, denying that God is coming back to restore Jesus on earth, and denying that, it's not really denying, it's freaking corrupting. Everything's been corrupted, people. And it's all in the name of making more money off the backs of poor people. And so, if not the options and futures strategy, the only other thing that I could think of at the moment that really feels like it has a lot of potential, and if it was established, is something where I could go and work every day, knocking on doors, explaining what I'm selling to people, and selling every single day. Guaranteed I would sell every single day because what I have to offer is so powerful. And it's through the life insurance industry. And what you guys need to understand about life insurance is that life insurance companies are protected because they're seen as a benefit to society. All businesses look at a benefit to themselves, but life insurance is given an exception and granted laws and abilities because it's considered a benefit to society. Because the idea is that if everybody had a life insurance policy today, then when people die, people would be getting more money than what they're paying out for the funerals. No death would cause economic financial pain into families and all these different things. And because of all these benefits, because that it does for overall society, and like the money that the state doesn't gotta waste and all these different things, they get these benefits. And the benefits are, one, you get to operate like a bank. So if you think of a life insurance company, you should think just like Bank of America. You go get your checking account. This, you just attach a life insurance to it, and like it comes with a Roth IRA like opportunity where like the profits that you make in your insurance policy don't get taxed because they're able to do what's called a loan, a wash loan, and they basically loan you your money rather than you withdrawing your money, but they don't charge you anything, and because it's your money, you're just borrowing your own cash. And when you die, the death benefit will always be greater than your loans because it's whatever your cash value is plus whatever your death benefit is, and it would pay off all the loans. And then when that goes to your heir, it goes 100% tax free. And so you could create this plan where literally all of your wealth is put into this plan, and you use it as like your 401k, your IRA, your savings account. I mean, it could be a checking account. It could have a separate account that's hooked up to the stock market, similar to like an E-Trade with a life insurance policy. And all these things, super fucking possible, could all happen tomorrow. Like, no new rules need to be written or changed or anything. It's all by what they're doing already. And basically, the benefits of the specific strategy I found within the life insurance industry proves that you would average anywhere between, depending on the risk you're willing to take, anywhere on a low end 12%, on a high end 16 to 18% average annual ROI. Now, when you go from 10% to 12%, so if you're in the S&P 500, $14 trillion right now today is in the S&P 500. If you're in that, you're expecting 10% a year. You go back 100 years, your average is somewhere between 9 to 11% a year if you like break it out into 30-year groups. And so like Warren Buffett says, just assume 10%, put it in the S&P and just forget about it. And then they call it indexing. Well, there's a way to index, but through options. And basically, you use 5% of your money, and you can get, if the market goes up 12% or more, you get a maximum of 12%. So you can get basically 7% for your 5%. 7% profit plus your 5% back. And when you take your account, like typically an IUL will take 95% of your money, put it into a bond, so it gets back to 100% by the end of the year, no matter what your other 5% does. That's in the option. And if the market goes down, you lose all 5%, and so you break even because your bond came back to 100%. But if the market goes up, then you get up to 12%. But what happens if you take 20% and then you buy options and you put the 80% in the bond? Well, now you've set yourself up to where, again, you're going to earn about an average 12% a year. And so when you get the 12% a year, what's going to happen is, instead of, like, you go to anyone, you talk about retirement. Like for me, I think about, I want to sell to the poorest people. I want to create a plan that's going to help poor people become like wealthy enough, like give them hope. And so what I do is you got to build a plan where they're going to put in money consistently every single month or every single year. And ultimately, it doesn't matter where you are. Are you making $20,000 a year? Are you making $50,000 a year? Or are you making $100,000 a year? The point is, if you're making 12% annual average ROI, all you got to do is save. I mean, it doesn't, like, if you save 10% of your income, within 15 years, you'll be able to retire at 100% of whatever you were making. And so the idea of all these crappy jobs that exist out there that don't really offer plans to retire, and like even 401ks and with all their fees and all this bullshit, it's like you got to work 30 years to retire. And like 401ks, IRAs, you can't take money out before 65 without paying taxes on it. But guess what? Life insurance, you don't have that problem. You can start your retirement as soon as your account's ready to retire. And so the idea would be that if you just got a job at McDonald's, you could literally save 10% of your money, work there for 15 years, and boom, you're retired off your life insurance policy. And you're making the exact same amount of money you were making. And if you decide to keep working and keep putting in money, then 20 years or another 15 years later, you would retire with a $100,000 a year income. Like, that's real, and that's how it works, and that's how impactful it is. And so basically, what I do is I want to start a new life insurance plan that is a variable universal life that uses the indexing method of the IUL but allows you to leverage it appropriately. And boom, it's ready to be sold tomorrow. Doing exactly what all the IULs companies are already doing, and the number one life insurance agent in the whole country for all products is my brother Curtis Ray, using a portion of this idea that I've discussed with you, but like a devil, stealing from everyone he talks to. So, because of the way the illustrator is organized inside the life insurance communities, and they're all basically the same illustration device. They all use the same formulas and same mathematics, and they just have their own fees and different bullcrap. But ultimately, like, my plan is literally designed to get you 15% ROI when you do it. Like, you probably have to go 25% risk instead of 20%. But the way that my brother's doing it is he's gonna get you 10 to 11% long term. But every few years, he's selling you more life insurance, and then he's having you take out loans and then put the money back in, and doing all these things create more and more fees. Every single time you do something like this, you're creating more and more fees. And not only that, the life insurance illustration for IULs is designed to where when you add life insurance to an existing policy, you got to add more than what you bought previously to get the same result, which again enhances the commissions and enhances the fees. And ultimately, the benefits of what the leveraged IUL offers, the way that he's doing it, you're not actually experiencing the benefit, and you have nothing but a regular IUL 10 years into the fucking plan. And through his slow process, he slowly gets your plan to where it's actually illustrating a freaking hyper leverage, like where I'm saying 25%, 20%. Like, his illustrations are illustrating that you're risking 50% of your cash value on call options for the next year. And if you were to get 2 years of zero or less, then you would lose 100% of your account. And that's what he's illustrating right now, and he should be sued for it. He doesn't understand how it truly works, and he's a terrible person. And so he's literally the number one life insurance agent in the country, in the world, and it's for 5 years straight, and he has thousands of people selling underneath him, and he's a billionaire off my work. And so I could get, like, there's a lot of energy here, there's a lot of history here, to where, like, if this was something where if you're a life insurance agent, you got access to money or friends or whatever, you got connections, help me get this product on the ground, and I will sell 10 people a day every single day. Like, so easy to knock on people's door and show them the best bank account they've never heard of, that will change their fucking life and their plans and their future. And it's already been validated. It's already been approved. The insurance companies already gave the go ahead to my brother, and for 5 years he's been he's come to make $1 billion off of it. And he filed some gay little patent thing, which I actually wrote, but he, like, I honestly think anyone could just take this and go run with it and just do it without me or anything else. But, like, even if you were scared of what he got going on, it's like, I have the contract that says that I'm the only one that's allowed to, outside of him, like, me and him are the only ones allowed to, and that, like, we basically were trying to work on it together, and then we parted ways, and I said, you go do whatever you want to do, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And so, like, in a real way, like, just having me on your side protects you from all legality, and we could have this up and running, and it would make me happy, and it would give me purpose, and it would allow me to go feel like I'm helping people's lives and something that I'm going to do, Where, like, if I just go get a job right now, it starts to build that resentment of, okay, well, I gotta go get a job, save all my money, get back to my freaking options thing, make a bunch of money, and then by the time I'm a billionaire that way, I'm just gonna hate this whole fucking world 1,000 times more than I already do. And I don't even know if I'd be able to be saved by that. So, saved after that much hate growing in my heart. I don't know, people. I just feel like the world sucks for everybody. What are you guys waiting for? How is there nobody real watching this shit ready to fucking unite an army? Like, if Flowbots is writing a song about me, why don't you fucking drop my name, bitch? What the fuck are you guys doing? Doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It just feels like you're all cowards. And I'm gonna be here to expose how cowardly you really were your whole fucking life soon. I don't know if it's a year from now. I don't know if it's fucking tomorrow, but one day I'm gonna get the mic and you're all gonna wish you followed me a lot fucking sooner.